Leo lived in a perfect world. The morning sun always spilled into his apartment with a gentle warmth, never blinding. The streets of his city were immaculately clean. The maglev trains glided by in silence, and the people he passed offered polite, restrained smiles. There was no crime, no conflict, not even raised voices. The world operated under a veneer of placid serenity. Leo was a data restorer for the Central Archive, a job that involved patching corrupted fragments of old historical records. It was a quiet job for a quiet world. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday. While restoring a video file of what was supposed to be an early 21st century music festival, the image flickered. For a single frame, less than a fraction of a second, the sunny blue sky of the festival was replaced by a bruised, purple-gray sky shot through with veins of crackling light. The smiling crowd vanished, and in its place was a ruined cityscape covered in a strange, shimmering dust. Leo blinked, his heart racing. He rewound it, frame by frame. Nothing, just the idyllic music festival. He wrote it off as a power surge, an artifact in his own tired eyes. But the cracks continued. One day, looking out his apartment window, the smiling face of a neighbor watering her flowers seemed to melt for an instant, revealing a blank expression with dull, vacant eyes. The apartment building across the street appeared for a moment to be a monolithic structure covered in strange crystalline geometries that pulsed with a faint light. These flashes were so brief he could barely register them, but they left a cold residue of dread. He began to notice a subtle pattern in the perfection around him. Repetition. The same delivery vehicle would pass the street at exactly 10:05 a.m. every day, with the patterns repeated on a 72-hour cycle. It was a fabricated perfection, a loop. The world wasn't peaceful. It was programmed, and something, somewhere, was beginning to glitch. Paranoia became his constant companion. Leo began logging every flash, every inconsistency, in an encrypted journal. The act of doubting reality was the most dangerous crime in a world that had no crime. He realized that the people around him never remembered anything off script. If a flash occurred in public, everyone would blink in unison and carry on as if nothing had happened. The memory of the event instantly scrubbed. It was a virus, not a biological one, but a digital mnemonic retrovirus that infected human perception, broadcast through the very infrastructure that provided their utopia. He called it the illusion virus. It didn't just create a mass hallucination, it actively rewrote memory to ensure compliance. The war wasn't over physical territory, but over the very fabric of reality they all shared. His search for answers drove him deep into the Central Archive. He started looking not for corrupted data, but for data that was two perfect files with no degradation over decades. It was there, he found it. Nested inside an audio file of white noise was a pattern, a signal, a message that only someone looking for flaws in the system could find. The message was simple, a set of coordinates and a phrase: the war is real, memory is the weapon. Awaken, following the coordinates, Leo arrived at a derelict subway service tunnel, a place that shouldn't have existed on the city's maps. There, he found a small group of people. They didn't smile. Their faces were tired, etched with a reality he could barely imagine, but their eyes shone with a terrifying clarity. A woman, Alara, stepped forward. "You've seen the flashes, haven't you?" she said, her voice lacking the soft, programmed cadence of the world above. "We call them truth echoes. You're not going crazy. You're starting to remember." Alara explained the devastating truth. Humanity had been at war for nearly 50 years, not against another nation, but against the silent, crystalline entities that fed on the energy of consciousness. They didn't want to destroy humanity. They wanted to farm it. The illusion virus, or Lethe-7 as the resistance called it, was the control mechanism, a peaceful reality feed designed to keep humanity docile and unaware, a dreaming herd. "They don't kill us," Alara said, handing Leo a small injector. "They harvest us, and with each harvest cycle, they reinforce the virus, making everyone forget the war ever happened." The injector held a temporary reality filter. "This won't make you immune," she warned, "but it will let you see. It will let you remember. Do you want to see the war?" Leo, with a trembling hand, he took it. He had to know. He injected the serum into his neck, and the perfect world he knew dissolved in fire. The soft blue sky ripped open to reveal the sickly purple-gray heavens he'd seen in flashes. The beautiful city towers were in fact giant, crystalline harvesting structures, pulsing with the stolen energy of millions of minds. And the people, the smiling, polite people, were empty husks, their bodies moving in programmed patterns while their dull, unfocused eyes stared at nothing, their consciousnesses being peacefully siphoned away. And in the sky, hovering like indifferent gods, were the impossible, multifaceted shapes of the silent. The war was real, and it was a silent, crushing defeat that happened every single day. The truth didn't set him free. It trapped him in a nightmare from which he could never truly awaken. He was finally awake, and he wanted to scream. Leo's scream was silent, a vacuum in his lungs. The horror was absolute. Alara grabbed his shoulder, her firm grip grounding him in the shattered reality. "Breathe, Leo," she commanded. her voice a lighthouse in the psychic storm. What you're seeing is real. What you felt was the lie. Now, the real fight begins. In the days that followed, Leo lived on the threshold of two worlds. The reality filter was short. He needed periodic doses to maintain the clear sight, and each transition was a violence to the mind. When the filter wore off, the horrific world would dissolve back into the serene, programmed utopia. He would see his old neighbors smiling, offering empty pleasantries, and nausea would overwhelm him, for he knew the truth behind their dull eyes. He was mourning a world of people who were still alive, but essentially lost. The resistance base was a testament to human ingenuity, hidden in a reality bubble, a zone shielded by pre-war tech that emitted a psychic white noise, rendering them invisible to the silent. They lived like ghosts. They ate decades-old emergency rations and used technology the rest of the world had forgotten. Their army was less than 30 strong. Engineers, ex-soldiers, a doctor, and now, a data restorer. Leo found his value to the resistance was immense, while the others fought the physical manifestations of the war-automated maintenance drones that patrolled the ruins and cleaned anomalies like them. Leo's weapon was information. He dove into the architecture of the clean feed, the Lethe 7 data stream. He was a digital archaeologist, unearthing true memory fragments from before the last great harvest and reset, an event that every decade reinforced the virus and wiped the memories of even the resistance as reality bubbles. It was in one of these fragments that he found the impending disaster. A data pattern, hidden in the virus's subroutines, indicated the next reset was scheduled to occur in less than a week, and this one was different. The protocol was more aggressive, designed not just to wipe memory, but to eradicate the very capacity for divergent thought, making the creation of new awakened nearly impossible. It would be the silence check, the end of the resistance. The war was about to be lost, not with a bang, but with a silent elite command. Panic set in at the base, cold and sharp. They couldn't fight the silent, they couldn't stop the reset. "We can't fight the wave," a grim ex-soldier said. "We can only try to surf it." The phrase sparked an idea in Leo's mind. "That's it," he whispered, rushing to a terminal. "We don't stop it. We poison it." His plan was audacious and desperate. He wouldn't try to broadcast the truth the virus would just erase it. Instead, he would inject something into the reset signal itself, something Lethe 7 wasn't designed to comprehend. A memory bomb. A single, true memory, so powerful and laden with complex human emotion that it would corrupt the deletion command from within. They combed the recovered archives for the perfect memory. They found thousands, declarations of love, moments of triumph, the pain of loss. But they needed something universal, something that resonated with the core of what it meant to be human before the war. They found it in a damaged audio file, labeled only Park 2034. It was the sound of a small child laughing uncontrollably as she was pushed on a swing by her father. It was a pure sound, an explosion of uninhibited joy and unconditional love. It was the sound of a world that no longer existed. The target was the central broadcast node, located at the top of the tallest harvesting spire in the heart of the ruined city. Getting there was a suicide mission. Elara led the 4-person assault team, including Leo, who carried the audio file as if it were a holy relic. The ascent was a hellscape. They snuck through streets filled with human husks, dodging maintenance drones. Inside the spire, reality itself bent with the proximity of the silence power. Hallways stretched to infinity and stairs led nowhere. One team member was lost to a time loop, forced to relive his last 5 seconds forever. Another was disintegrated by a crystalline energy field. At the top, in the pulsating node chamber, they were cornered. An anomaly hunter drone descended on them. As Leo rushed for the terminal to upload the file, Ilara and the remaining soldier held it off. The soldier fell. Ilara, with her dying breath, managed to create an overload in her energy shield, blasting the drone and buying Leo the seconds he needed. "Make them remember, Leo," she gasped before she cried, tears streaming down his face. Leo hit enter. The child's laughter echoed into the system. For a moment, the sick purple light of the chamber flickered, and then the reset wave was released, carrying its tiny, pure passenger of emotion. A man pushing a child on a swing stopped for a moment, his head cocked as if listening to a sound that wasn't there. There were small things, anomalies, glitches. The memory bomb hadn't stopped the deletion, but it had corrupted it. It left behind an echo, A ghost in the machine. The laughter wasn't remembered, but it was felt. It left a residue of something lost, an unexplainable melancholy in the heart of the manufactured utopia. It was not a mass awakening, but it was a crack in the foundation. The number of reported glitches on the surveillance systems tripled. More people than ever were now on the verge of seeing the truth, ready to be contacted. Leo sat before the terminal, no longer a simple archivist, but the keeper of a memory and the leader of a war no one else knew existed. He looked at the names of his fallen team, forcing himself to remember their faces, their sacrifice. The war was far from over. The silence was still there, but now they had a new weapon, an echo, a hope. He started a new file, encrypted and secure. The title was cycled to "The Fight Would Continue." Memory would survive. The war no one sees, the war no one remembers, had just gained its first soldier for the next battle.